Got to start out with a confession to all of you tonight. I broke down and I did a search on Chat GBT for the first time. I put in on that search Catholic homily on John 2, 1 to 11, incorporating Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. It was good. It was so good, all right, that I can't use it. Because all of you would go, yeah, that's not him. Way too eloquent. Way too polished. It all just flows together. So, and there was one image in there that I was praying with that I'm going to share with you that wasn't in Chat GBT's homily for this weekend. So we have the beginning of the season of green, right? Ordinary time. And we have this year, the gospel about the first of Jesus' miracles, right? First of his miracles, the wedding feast at Cana, where he transforms something ordinary into something extraordinary. And so that's what I hope that we can all just really carry with us throughout the season of green. That Jesus is always with us to transform ordinary time into something extraordinary for us. And that will be the case when we recognize that every time we come here to this banquet, right, Jesus performs a miracle for us again. And I've shared this with you before, that this image of the liturgy, the Eucharistic liturgy, as the wedding of heaven and earth, right? It's where the veil that separates us from those who have gone before us is its thinnest. I believe that. I believe that we have in this celebration, we have that very, very close proximity to the communion of saints. Right? In fact, I've had a couple of experiences over my priesthood where during Mass I've had extraordinary experiences. One of them was the day after my dad's funeral. I had to go driving up to the Twin Cities to go mission preaching, and during that Mass, I felt at the altar, I felt like the whole congregation had come around me and was just supporting me with their prayers. It was an unbelievable experience. Another experience was when I was presiding actually in the Holy Sepulchre, where Jesus was laid to rest after the crucifixion. And I felt an overwhelming sense of those who are no longer with us was present with us, was present with me right then and there. So I hope that, perhaps maybe sometime in this ordinary time, we tend to look around. There's just a few people that I don't recognize, but pretty much everybody else here, you're ordinary people that come here week after week. But I'm hoping that perhaps something extraordinary can happen for you in this ordinary time. Jesus took water that was meant for something that was really ordinary, washing your hands, right? The ceremonial washings for coming into a Jewish feast. And he transformed it into extraordinary wine. Okay? He did that, and I like to imagine that scene where Mary comes up to him and says, they ran out of wine. And his response is, what does this have to do with me? Because my time hasn't come yet. And I imagine her mumbling under her breath, oh, it has everything to do with you. But she doesn't even have to say that. She just has to look at him and then says to the servers, do whatever he asks you to do. And he receives her request and performs this incredible miracle. He transforms that ordinary into something extraordinary. Out of love for his mother, out of obedience, out of, and maybe a desire to really provide hope and joy for that community that had gathered for that wedding celebration. It would have been really an awful experience for the people throwing that wedding feast to run out of wine. It would have been a horrible embarrassment for them. And so Jesus truly saves the day and saves face for that family putting on the feast. We are invited to allow Jesus to do the extraordinary with the ordinary, with us. We're invited to recognize that our words, our actions can make a difference if we strive to unite ourselves to Christ. I think Martin Luther King Jr. set a beautiful example for us in recognizing what one man can do. A difference one man can have on society. He transformed our society, right? He helped lead a cause into those words about his dream, right? He dreamed of a society that would be transformed from where they were in 1963 before he delivered that speech. And we've seen some progress, right? But we all know that there's more work to do. And so that's where we come in. That's where we are invited to recognize that we are called to work with that dream. We are called to work with others where we can come together and strive to continually help all people be treated equally. All people see their dignity, their worth as children of God. The image that came to me in my prayer this morning was that of those gallon, or those 20 to 30 gallon jugs. And there were 6 of them. Okay? Let's take half of those. Just take half of those, right? So that's three water jars holding 20 to 30 gallons each. They're substantial. That's a substantial water jar. Now, the image that came to me is that the three parishes that make up our historic 24th Street family of parishes, I think we're being invited to see ourselves as those jars with water in them, and how we are being called to be transformed. Our parish communities are being called to be transformed so that we can provide the hope, the joy, be the agent of transformation in our community, right here in North 24th Street. And we know that work continues. The work of transformation is needed, right? Just all of the families that send their children to our school over here, right? They're still experiencing the effects of redlining. The vast majority of the families that we're serving over here, right? They're still living in poverty because of the effects of racism. And so that work of transformation is still needed. When we think about all the people that come through the Heart Ministry Center over here, right? Many of them experiencing the sins of racism still. The effects that have kept them from living the American dream. So we are being called into this new reality of a family of parishes. Last weekend, we did the last of our discernment process, where we came together to try to start formulating the apostolic priorities that we're being called to. We're still, as a leadership team, praying over those and trying to formulate what was gathered. And so I just invite all of your prayers for that ongoing work as we try to identify those priorities. But let's also recognize that each and every one of us individually, more in concert with our communities of faith, we are being called to that transformation. So let us strive to continue to dream big, to continue to try to receive what Jesus offers us, and to use that to spread that good news, that love, that hope, the transforming power of God's love into the worlds that we have contact with.